Well, hello, my beautifuls. How are you? Welcome to 1111 True Crime. We're going to be talking about Madeline Soto today. And there is just all hell breaking loose. You think, okay, this is looking pretty solid here. We have the suspect that looks pretty solid as who could be the one that did this. And we're going to get into all the details of that. And then the shit hits the fan because LE literally posted the wrong crime scene photo and then doubled down with a very important official of the law enforcement taking a selfie. You got it, with the suspect. And then putting a quote that demonizes him. So, this is a big concern for all of us that want true justice, and we do not want to give any stepping stones to a suspect that is solidly appearing as though they have committed the crime. So, what I'm about to break down that's happened in the Madeline Soto case matters a great deal. Even if you've heard this story, okay, yep, that happened, wow, oh no. No, 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 no. This can play a huge part in this suspect walking out the door because he's being demonized and they're literally poisoning the jury pool from day one. Come on. I mean, y'all, I'm just going to say, I'm getting pissed. So I'm like, all right, we've got to break this down as a family and understand it better. I would like to welcome my all Starlight panel, and good to see everybody. We've got Jenny Troglin, The Best of Me, Wildfire, Summer Snow, Cherry 63, Beverly Ward, Pin Dizzy, hello, lovely. Jenny has some things going on with her dad, so send some loving energy to our longest long-term member. And her dad needs a little special help, as does Jenny. Send some love her way. Hey, Laura Williams, Lee McKenna, hello, everybody. I'm happy you caught alive too, Mary. Hi, Sam R. All right, you guys, enough of the hellos and soft and cushies. Hello to everyone. Now, you are watching a live program, and if you are watching replay, all right, it is still it's a recording of a live. So remember, if you're watching replay, you have a fast forward button, all right? Just letting you know. Hey, Poetry Emotion. Okay, before we jump in with both feet into breaking down the bare bones of what has happened up till now, an update in the Madeline Soto case, I needed to touch base with you just a little bit about yesterday's live. So, in this, I had stated that I had a clip where Kaylee's dad, Steve, says that Kaylee was doing deep dive research into child trafficking. And I couldn't find it on the live, and I don't look too long because I know I'll be doing another live. So I just want to get this out of the way for all those that do follow along. And I welcome the rest of you. If you're new, grab a blanket, grab your snack, and settle in. We'll be here for a little bit. All right, guys, let's go with this.
Kayla was amazing, hard worker. She hung out with two boys, her brother and her cousin, and she was right in between them. She wanted to be faster than them. She was that girl that was like really like she was kind of like a Punky Brewster type girl, and we missed out on a really smart person that was going to be a little conservative. She was conservative too. She was always looking up stories on child, getting trafficked, and she was telling me that she thinks it's a lot bigger than people understand. She was always looking up stories on child, getting trafficked, and she was telling me that she thinks it's a lot bigger than people understand. So, and we can't replace her, guys. There's no replacing any one of these people. Kayla was amazing.
So I wanted to share that real quick for those of you that did have questions on that. Um, it really boggles my mind that when I look at the Maddie Soto case, that this could have even happened. All right. So let me see first here. Where exactly is it? I think this is it. Okay. All right. So you're going to have to listen to this lady. I'm going to rewind it very slowly. True Crime with Sarah 93 on TikTok or I'm sorry, Instagram. Or maybe this is TikTok and she's talking about whatever. Follow True Crime with Sarah 93. Here we go. I followed her, I believe. Um, but she's going to try to break this all down and make sense of it for you. And then I'm going to show you some other stuff from there. All right? Here we go.
This poor little girl's body. This is unreal. The sheriff's office has not disclosed whether Lopez himself or another agency employee posted the photo and did not specify the criminal investigation from which the image originated. Former Osceola County Sheriff Russ Gibson, who is running against Lopez in the 2024 election, said that the photo depicted the body of 13-year-old Madeline Soto. She was found deceased on this last Friday afternoon in a wooded area near St. Cloud. And if you don't know anything about this case, I'll link it in the playlist down below. The clothes seen in the photo are consistent with the outfit Soto was believed to be wearing when she was reported missing on February 26th. In response to questions from Florida News 6, Osceola County Sheriff's officials did not dispute the photo stemmed from the Soto investigation, so they're not denying it. A caption below the photograph stated, "Great day with our seniors," followed by an emoji of a smiley face wearing a halo. An unnamed Osceola County spokesperson said in an email to News 6 on Saturday, "Earlier today, a post was made on social media about a community event for seniors. In the post, an investigative photo was accidentally included. The photo was immediately removed. We deeply apologize for any confusion or disturbance this may have caused. As with any investigation, the information obtained is confidential and..."
So what she's sharing with you, and that's all I can do of that, is that they shared the wrong. Y'all, Ellie shared a crime scene photo of allegedly Madeline Soto's body accidentally, which is bad enough. But the also fact is that we have a law official that took a selfie picture and then posted it on the social media with a whole phrase about how evil this guy is, right? I mean, we'll get into it. So there are parts here that are not redacted on this. Trigger warning, we are adults. Here is going to be talking about body parts, um, intimate body parts, and I will only be saying the first letter. You can fill in the details. This is the emergency warrant request cover sheet, which talks about, this is a standard sheet. And then it gets into the state of Florida versus Stephen Michael Stearns. His date of birth is April 25th, 1986, white male. And it gives his address. I looked it up. Yeah. This gets a little confusing in some of the stuff it says. Because why is he bringing her body back towards his location if she's found over on a dirt road? I don't quite understand it. So I'll read it with you and we'll see. State of Florida, County of Escola. Digital appears the affiant, Detective Brian Moore, and it talks about a sworn law official to wit, officer, blah, 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 who makes this affidavit, and it's swearing him in, okay? It's got one charge of sexual battery and the second charge of possession of material sexual performance by a child. Your affiant, Detective Brian Moore, is sworn by law. Again, same thing, okay? And it goes on to talk about their duties and the investigation, and here's where it starts. On February 26th, which is 4 days, you guys, after her birthday, all right, on February 26, 2024, at approximately 20 hours, so 10 p.m. That's confusing to me. 20 hours, let me think about this. 8 p.m., sorry, 8 p.m. So why was the mother, Jen Soto, telling everybody in every interview that she reported it immediately after the email from the teacher when she knew something was, quote, truly wrong? Because right there, that's a lie on the mother's part, according to this. It says right here, 20 hours. So that's 8 o'clock p.m. was reported missing by her mother. The mother advised her daughter's stepfather, Stephen Stearns, picked her up from home. Stop right there. This is alleging to say someone picked you up from your home, that they aren't in your home at the time. They're coming from somewhere else to your home to pick you up, which is strange to me. No, she didn't, Lee? What do you mean, honey? Okay. Here we go. The mother advised her daughter's stepfather, Stephen Stearns, picked her up from home and dropped her off at Hunters Creek Middle School. Then the address, and this is on February 26, 2024. The mother then went to pick up blank from school at dismissal and learned blank never showed to school. An interview was conducted with blank, Stephen Stearns, who advised he picked blank up and dropped her off in front of Peace United Methodist Preschool. Again, there's the address, which was down the street from the school at 8:40 hours. So that would be 8 a.m. Well, 8:40 a.m. Hunters Creek Middle School begins at 9:30 in the morning. A license plate reader captured Stephen's vehicle with Florida tag, blah, 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 driving blank. During the interview with Stepan, or I don't even know how to say the dude's name, nor do I give a crap, he provided consent to search his phone. However, he stated he accidentally performed a factory reset on his phone on February 26, 24, the same day blank went missing. After an extensive canvass of the area and interviews with blank family and friends, it was unusual for blank to be dropped off down the street from the school and not stay in communication with family and friends. So that was out of the ordinary. She had not said, drop me off way down here, away from everything, right? Ever before. Upon reviewing the contents of Stefan's phone, several images, get ready you guys, where's our goat? All right, it's going to be loud, mute your headphones, here we go. If you've got a boss listening in, mute. Trigger warning, this gets really ugly, like the darkest. Whew. Upon reviewing the contents of Stefan's phone, several images and videos were located which depicted breasts, B, and A opening as a focal point of the pictures and videos. There were also pictures and videos depicting blank, B, and mouth being penetrated by a P. As such, the files depict the essay performance of a child. Your client has probable cause to believe Stepan was in possession of material depicting the sexual performance of a child. It should be noted the P observed penetrating blank had distinct markings on it, which was consistent of bright pinkish colored skin below the head of the P until approximately a quarter of the length down the shaft of the P. Several other pictures capturing this distinct pattern were observed on the phone. Further, as your client was reviewing the pictures and video, I was observing several different pieces of clothing to include patterned underwear, shirts, blankets, and sheets. A whole paragraph, basically a half a paragraph redacted, and then it says, based on the totality of the circumstances, your client has probable cause to believe Stepan committed a sexual battery, and it's blank. So, how disgusting. And I want him, if he did this to her, which he is not guilty until proven in a court of law, but it sure the hell looks that way. But I want him to be treated fairly so that he gets put in prison if he's guilty. And it is angering me when I see stupid, immature people that are going to break protocol. Is that allowed? You're at work as a law official and you're going to take a selfie and post it with the suspect and demonize him? That pisses me right off. Not because he doesn't deserve it, but you're not a civilian, lady. Oh, it just blew my mind.
See additional.
Oops, sorry guys. This is really loud. Let me know if it's too loud. Oh my goodness, Wildfire says absolutely trigger warning again, right? Lee McKenna says dirty scumbag. Jilly Lane says so gross, he is a demon. And you have the right to decide how you want. I want him to make it to court just like I wanted Adam Montgomery to make it to court. And I want it to go in the favor of Madeline. So we play fair. We play fair. It doesn't matter what they're telling us right now. We're not going to be looking at no horrific photos because there is no value in that. That serves absolutely no purpose for any of us. But I'm going to be staying on this case, and I hope you'll travel with me because there's no way in hell I'm going to sit by and let somebody that has that kind of material on their phone walk if they're guilty of doing this. It's not going to happen. But Cat says your story was so brave. Well, and you feel me. This is personal. I take this case personal. And maybe I shouldn't be. I try to be objective in most cases. But when law officials are not following protocol, okay, oops on the dead body. We get it. That's a bad oops. None of us think you did it intentional. I have a story I'll share with you. There was a very young, beautiful girl. We'll call her Savannah because that was her name. And she worked with me. Good friend, too. And my coworker, my colleague, was her boss. And she came to me, and she was a good friend. And she was like, I want a day off. I never get a day off. And every time I give a reason to try to get a day off, my boss, Jim, keeps blocking me. He's like, nope, we have an audit that day. You can't take that day. So she's like, I'm just going to have to fake it to get the hell out of here. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, well, I know nothing. Go do your thing. So she goes to tell me that she had the conversation with him. And yes, she gets a day off. But she's telling me in a text how much of an asshole he was about it. And she comes to me and she's like, how come you're not texting me back? And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't have a text. She texted it to Jim. Full compassion about how I can't believe I had to make up an excuse to get the hell off of work and he's such an asshole and blah, blah, blah. So shit happens, you guys. Okay? But when they break protocol and they start posting as a law official in that high up of a placement, a picture of the suspect and begin to form a judgment of demonizing this person, that's when you are giving them walking papers. And I am furious. I see wrongful convictions, but I also see dirt bags walk free because people don't do their jobs right. Lee McKenna says, yep, we should all be taking these cases very seriously. Wildfire says, be creative with spicy words. Thank you. I don't know what that means, but. What was war says, we, U.S., don't play nice in heavy traffic. Thank you, dear. Thank you. That's right. Then the perp walks correct. And it breaks my heart. And you know, if somebody walks that will harm a child and then take their life, you guys, we have failed that child in their dying breath. As if the whole world didn't fail this child and many others before. We as a society, once we learn of the wrongdoing, we need to walk a fine line in the sense that we get justice properly. Okay? The game needs to be played fairly. That means, okay, I was thinking about this, and this is going to sound so simple and so stupid, but I believe in keeping things very simple and stupid. And I want to know why we don't have a catch-all for our judicial system. What in the hell is a catch-all, Mama D? A catch-all is, this is a universal sandbox cloud storage. In order for you to use the evidence in trial at all, whether your prosecution or defense, it goes in this particular sandbox. Nobody can use anything if it's not accessible by the courts and the defense and the prosecution equally. So don't plan on coming into court and presenting any evidence if it hasn't been in the sandbox for everybody to have their hands on it. I just saved us billions of effing dollars. Boom! I do little booms. Little booms. Somebody gets mad at me because they're like, I thought Crime Circus only did booms. We all have boom moments. We all have boom moments, you guys. But I give him credit for coming up with a very creative way to use it. Okay. I'm going to play for you. It's very loud. If it's too loud, let me know, okay? All right. Like I said, it's really loud. This is the middle school principal's message when they were looking for Maddie. I wanted to play this for you because I felt that the scale of failure, in my eyes, my humble opinion, rested a lot on the fact that the school waited till after 4:30 in the afternoon, allegedly, to robocall that Maddie wasn't in school all day. And that wasted a lot of time. Would it have been in time to save her? No, not according to law officials. But it really brings the opportunity for us to take that time to ask our school, if we have school-age children, what time will you let me know? And you could change that. So there were rules at school. And I had different rules for my autistic son. If my children weren't in school, at first, roll call. I got a human call. Because my autistic child actually had an IEP team, which I had to sign for them to be able to receive the grant of $10,000 more per semester than what the other children would get. So I was funding that school $20,000 a year, and they would lose that funding if I pulled my son out of school. So there were set rules. My child was not allowed to be dependent on the system and walk out of class and go to the playgroup if he was uncomfortable just because he had Asperger's. No. Even though that was their policy, that wasn't going to happen. My son, if he had an attack of anxiety, had a quiet area he could retreat to in a beanbag. It was not a place where there was any interaction with people. It was not a getaway. It was not to be abused because he had something he had to work through. So I look very, very strongly at schools because they are with our children about the same amount as we are. I'm riding solo, riding solo. How is everybody doing? Linda Annie says, what state did this take place in? I've been out of the loop. I was in the hospital. Sending you a lot of love and healing energy, hon. Hey, Tickety Boo Boo. How are you? I'm looking to see what, I missed it. Lee McKenna says we should be telling our kids not only be aware of strangers, but if anyone touches you inappropriately, you should tell someone. Not all are strangers' kids. Oh, that is so true. That is so true. Okay, here we go, you guys. This is a school message. Here we go.
See additional Hunters Creek Middle School families. This is Principal McConnell. I wanted to call and make you aware that you might see additional law enforcement officers in the area near our campus. As you might have heard, the Orange County Sheriff's Office is continuing to search for missing 13-year-old Maddie Soto. She was last seen heading to school on Monday morning. While we continue to assist in the investigation, we ask that you immediately contact law enforcement if you have any information that can assist them in locating Madeline. Please check the Orange County Sheriff's Office social media accounts to view the missing child alert. That includes a photo. We would appreciate your help and thank you for listening.
So I am very pleased that this school jumped on it and they sent this out because that is alerting every single parent that there is a missing child, number one. So watch your kid, right? Number two, so that's preventative. If there is somebody out there abducting kids, the school's taking an active role in taking the action needed so that parents are very aware that there would likely be a danger, right? Second, it's making other parents be aware of to look for that specific child. They even go as far as to say to look at the website that the child's photograph, in case you don't remember which kid it is or you've just never met this kid, you can get your eyes on what this child looks like. So I commend them. And I feel like all they need to do, if that is true about the robocall, is basically get it moved up in the day. So I really was very pleased with the way the school handled this situation, in my humble opinion. What do you guys feel, though? Do you feel like, I don't know, what do you guys feel like? Hey, Brian Ramblings, how are you? And welcome to A Level Limit True Crime. Football Cat says middle school is a difficult time in between childhood and teenage years. Absolutely. Hey, Judah Star, you said the whole cell phone situation. I had kids all grown now, and I have a lot of awesome and beautiful. Aw, I love it when people are so blessed. The Linda Annie asks, what state did this take place? I've been out of the loop all day. I was in the hospital. I got more wrapped up in the hospital part and forgot to answer your question, and that is that it happened in Florida. Judah Star says they are not allowed to go off without their cell phones. If their phones ever got left behind a trip or the school or I'm sorry, I can't read the rest of that. It trails off. All right, you guys. Football Cat says, I left a YouTube chat because a man was disrespectful to a woman. It triggered me. Well, you got to do what you got to do, my lovelies. You got to do that. Now, I'm going to... Okay, not this one. Hold on. I'm going to bring something up. Let's go back over to our browser, my beautifuls. Now, this is very tiny. I realize that. I'm sorry. I don't know how to make it bigger. I tried to figure it out. And on short notice, I couldn't, and I had to go grab this. So I'm going to read it to you. Michelle Hurdo, what? Yep. Erica Andre. Now, this is weird. This is what somebody has posted. It's all alleged, you guys. This person may not know this mother and may not have students who go to Maddie's school. But this is what's floating around. But we also know fake news is abundant out there. So we've got to learn to discern. But with Maddie turning 13, if this has any truth to it at all, then what I think was a domino effect. So that would be that if this were true, then it would follow suit that the mother would soon then become aware. And if she truly is denying that this occurred, the question would be, would this have triggered the hovering by Steppen. So you watched the interviews with the mother, and you saw how Steppen hovers. He hovers through that one interview the entire time. I'll call it the knuckle cracking interview, which I actually have for you if you guys choose to see it. And I'm wondering if this is something that may have truth to it. I'll let you judge. Erica Andre. She's sickening to me as well. I know she knew his behavior was odd with the children, and she just looked the other way. There's rumors at school from the kids that Maddie was telling her one best friend about the molestation and how her mom didn't believe her. I heard this 2 days ago from students and informed the school deputy. However, it seemed to me they already knew something. So if there's any truth to that, the mother would have confronted the attacker most likely. So if your child comes to you and says, so-and-so touched me, I believe that the logical response for the parent would be to say, what? Listen to it again. Tell me again. Tell me one more time. All right. I'm going to go figure this out. I'm going to have you go over here and sit still. All right. Then you're going to go after that person. Maybe grab your friend, right? Somebody you trust, or a family member, to go confront said person. Even if they're a freak or a narcissist, maybe you would just, well, and that is a good point, Hunt. It says control freak narcissist behavior, and that might be scary to do. That might be very intimidating to do, because you've seen him cracking his knuckles and hovering, right? So maybe you're going to do it over the phone. But in some manner, I think that alerts him. Just my gut is feeling, and I could be totally wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. But my gut as a mom is telling me I would confront that man. And I'd be like, I wouldn't want to tell him my daughter told me anything. I would just be like, I'd be like on the sly so that he didn't know exactly what was said, right? I'd be like, and I might even say the school called me just to scare him and also give me leverage if I'm scared of him. So even if the school didn't call me, I might have the tendency to want to put leverage outside of myself if I'm intimidated by him. And I might say the school called and they said that Maddie has to have a physical coming up, but they had concerns because she had some issues and she talked to the school nurse. Is there anything you need to talk to me about? And just kind of see if he felt what I was saying. and if he like screwed up anything. And then I would actually take my daughter immediately in to the doctor, regardless of what I thought. I would take my daughter to the ER instantly. 911 ER into the emergency room. And I would have the doctor examine her to see if she's ever had intercourse in any fashion, if there's any scar tissue, if there's any signs. Is her hymen intact? Is there any physical marks on my child I should be aware about? And if they ask me why, I would then say, please, honey, tell the doctor what you just told me. Now, I know that a lot of these parents are going to be like, well, what if he didn't do anything? Well, then the doctor's going to tell you, right? The doctor is going to tell you whether that child has had intercourse or not. Or at least highly likely if they've been molested in a gynecological exam, which he's going to need anyway, and which I believe is the mere reason she is starting her menstruation cycle. And with that, young women go in to see gynecologists. And I know, and you know, that that could very well be weighing on the suspect's mind if he's been molesting this child, which it sounded like he was in that report. The Archer and the Empress Tarot says, oh, those students will be interviewed and mom will have to deal with that. Lee McKenna says, we need something we can access that our kids have attended all lessons, maybe a registration at every lesson that would let parents know right away to get the information out ASAP. You're right. I had that. And it worked really good during the pandemic, because it also was a place where homework got put from the teachers for the day. But all it was every single, like when they did roll call, they entered the child's, it like automatically wasn't, how do I put this strongly? What assignments weren't turned in and the roll call for that period. So I could literally look and see if my son checked out at 6th hour, and I could see what assignments he had not turned in and when they were due from every subject. We have a small school, but they do a damn good job. Okay, Brian Rambling says, felt 911 call way too graphic, y'all. I have not heard it. I am a little bit worried to listen. I haven't seen it. And I have not looked up no accidentally released body picture. I don't ever want to see that. Sassy, good to see you. Say what's unfortunate is I know someone who took her 4-year-old to the hospital because he said his dad was essaying him. Hospital never contacted LE. Mom tried to get help from LE and the school. And that was all you wrote, love. Where's the rest of the story? Paul Harvey. So that is some of the things that I wanted to share with you on this. And I really feel like if they want to make sure that they get this guy that did this, we have to really pay attention to how he is treated in the media. Because when people are demonizing these folks so horribly, okay, then they can use that as they have insufficient help, ineffective counsel, all kinds of stuff, and walk. I don't know. Now, I'm going to switch over in just a second. That is going to be an email from Chase. Now, he was on Greg, whatever his name is, channel as well. And Chase was kind enough to email me and you so that he could explain as a friend of Stepan's, what he experienced. But he didn't give us a great deal to share, but he did share some with us. And I want to send a special thank you out to him for sharing this. Judah Starr says, I'm in Alaska. There's a different school in different places, and towns do different stuff when it comes to the kids, hooky play, and not showing up or not doing homework. I know, but when it's our kids, safety first. I mean, that's not something we should mess around with, in my opinion. I'm just saying. Oh, and by the way, I'm taking off till Friday, you guys, after this. So Friday, we're going to do Sebastian Rogers. Very important case. Autistic boy that wasn't there in the morning, kind of like a Summer Wells thing. Autistic little boy, Sebastian Rogers, and the dog's found nothing, and he's not seen leaving his home on any camera. And I have the parents' interview, so we're going to be breaking that down on Friday. All right, you guys, let's get over. And gosh, these are really, really small, right? Is there any way to make it bigger? I'll have to learn to make it bigger for you guys. This is not what I want to do. That's the way I did it, though. Okay. This was sent to me on the 2nd of March at 5:21 p.m. And it was after I made I think it was the first video on Maddie Soto. Here we go. Where to begin? First off, okay, so this is Chase, and he was friends with the alleged suspect, Stephen Stearns. I'm notoriously bad with names, and so you guys don't need to hit me. I don't want to hear it. Where to begin? First off, the father always seemed normal, but his mom, Deborah, was an entirely different animal. So he starts off right at the very beginning talking about the father and the mother, Deborah, of Stepan, saying that the mother is an entirely different animal. Now, Greg Hughes also had on another friend, right? I watched that guy too. I guess 3 of them. And they've all kind of like filled in the missing pieces to build up the history of this individual. And it basically says she was an evil racist lady, and I always had the impression Dad hated both her and Stephen. He was never around, and we always assumed he was off cheating. He has a brother, I think that was military, who not one time ever talked to them in 10 years, and I was close, in big caps, family friends. I lived in 4 different houses with them. Mom raised champion poodles. We had a falling out when he drew a gun on me over a disagreement, and I never talked to him again and moved away. A year after that, a mutual friend moved in with him while going through hard times. A year after that, he moved out on bad terms. I pried and asked why. Reluctantly, he told me while cleaning up the network at the house, which he happens to be IT, he found a folder on a network of kitty stuff and videos of his, at the time, girlfriend going in and out of the shower from a hidden camera Stepan had in their room. His mom, Deborah, paid him off to keep quiet. Now, this is all alleged by the emailer. And then it says he also stabbed a man when he was like 14 in California. I said California. And missed his heart by 1 millimeter. So then the other friend on Greg Hughes says, no. There was no stabbing. He would know about it. But we don't know. Because it's he said, right? But we do appreciate Chase for sharing what he's been told. So that might very well be what Chase has been told. Somebody could have stretched a truth or created their own scenario to tell Chase, or maybe that's the truth and the other guy doesn't really know. Who knows? But I really wanted to say thank you to Chase for sharing that with us. And then I'm going to come up to topside real quick. Hold on. I'm going to get this next video ready. Now, I took a lot of heat because I was so judgy on the mom. I'm still judgy on the mom. I become more and more so much more suspicion on the mom. That's my right, in my opinion. that does not mean that she did something wrong. It doesn't. And if you're going to come on here and hit me because you feel like, you know, I need to just shut up about the mom, excuse me? Um, there's something wrong with what mom is saying. There is something wrong here, you guys. Yeah, where has Army Nurse been? Asked Hunt. I wondered that myself. But she is very busy, I know that. But I'm hoping to see her again soon. Hi, Sam R. Jennifer Swain, hello, my lovely. Judith Starr says, yeah, that makes no style concerning whether or not this young girl can find her way home. That's just weird. Even my young granddaughters, when they were 4 and 5, could find their way home to my apartment. Interesting. Yeah, I tried to teach my kids real young, too. Laura Williams said, I heard him on the show. Sounds legit. His friend explaining who Stefan is. Right, right. He did sound legit. I appreciate it, Chase, so much. So if there is a discrepancy between friends that knew him, like I said, it could be either one that were told the wrong thing. But that's still what they were told. So, I'm not saying anything negative. I'm just thankful that he was willing to share with us. Janine Simons, welcome to 1111 True Crime. You say you need to talk to his neighbor friend who has a bunch to say about the mother and Stefan. He tells a lot about Stefan's childhood, which was unbelievable. Please, Hughes Investigates, go watch. Right, even about storing semen in bottles, you guys. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's so bad. And it gets even worse than that. Okay? So definitely go watch that. You sent me a document on his criminal history, Dee Marie. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Tickety Boo says, I think she was petrified of him. Doesn't excuse her, though. I think she suspected something, if not knew. You could be right. You could be right. Hey, Pixie, you said, I found it weird that a 13-year-old wouldn't know her way home. I felt insecure. Me too. Football Cat, I heard a dog was in the car accident and ran a mile in his daycare for help. Oh, I missed something, Football Cat. I heard a dog was in a car accident and ran a mile to his daycare for help. You'd have to elaborate. I don't know what that's referring to, hon. I'm so sorry. Sam R. says, if she suspected, why did she let him take her anywhere alone? Sherry Krause says, I can barely stand to look at his face. Wretched. Okay. So, and it was so weird that would be the day because I have heard on the YouTube Rumor Street, rumor is, whispers have it, that the family is saying that was not normal for anybody else besides the mother to take her to school. I find it strange. Did she call him and say, okay, all right, I'm going out on a limb and I'm just going to throw this out here. How did mom sleep through it? If he's picking the child up from school, but she doesn't start school at 9:30, but she's dead by 7:30, I would be asking a hell of a lot more questions if I am mom. Why would you pick my child up at least an hour and a half before you need to? What is going on, you guys? So, because this child allegedly was no longer alive by 7:30 a.m., and she's calling to have Stefan pick up this child, I have to say it. it begs suspicion that the mother may have psychological issues and something may have triggered the mother and something went terribly wrong. And then Stephen may have been the one to discard the body. In other words, both be guilty. One of molestation, maybe that was the morning. Bear with me. This is hard for me. I'm not accusing the mother intentionally. I'm sharing my own fears and my own worries of what may or may not have taken place in this hypothetical theory. So let's just say it's the night before. And let's say this rumor is true. Let's just give it some thought here. How far-fetched is it that Madeline, at turning 13, is starting to worry that she could get pregnant and has to reach out and tell somebody what's happening? So who would you tell? Maybe the mother. And maybe the mother didn't want to believe it. Maybe it got into a fight. Because if this child is never ever picked up by this man, why today, on the one day that they see her moving, him, allegedly, Ellie claims, moving a dead body around? And he's as much to blame because, allegedly, of what we read. Hey, Mama, you said she wasn't even at the birthday party. She said she had to work. I wonder when she got off work. Well, and the child's birthday wasn't on Sunday. It was on the 22nd of February. Let me look at my calendar real quick. Okay, let me go back to February. I'm going to explain this in a timeline for you. Hold on. So February 22nd is Thursday. So I would get it. Yeah, let's move the birthday party to a day where Mommy can be there, right? Okay, let's move it to Sunday. But Mommy can't be there because I got to work. I don't understand that. Lucy Lou Who says, didn't the mother say that she worked the late night before, so she asked Stephen to take Madeline to school so Mom could sleep? Why is he picking her up that early? The school doesn't start till 9:30. There's something wrong. That being said, my lovelies, if you do not want me to break down how I feel intuitively and my opinion and my emotional breakdown of what this mother shares in the very first interview, this is when you need to take a hard right. Because I'm about to break this down and tell you what I really, really feel. I have no special training, but I am a very strong intuitive reader. And I read energies. And I'm just going to share what I feel with you. So, here we go. Okay, you guys, I'm going to be starting and stopping this a lot. If you want to watch the full interview, feel free to go do so. I think the interview is all over. I'm not even going to put the link down. You can find this interview absolutely all over. It's flooded. So, yes, I am going to be stopping this quite a bit. Here we go.
Going on with Maddie?
Well, Monday morning, we took her to school. We dropped her off close to school, across the street from a church, which is...
So I can't make it 3 seconds into it. Okay, I made it 14. What does she say? Who does she say did this? Look at how direct she is. She's very clear about it. All right, listen.
Going on with Maddie?
Well, Monday morning, we took her to school. We dropped her off close to school, across the street from a church, which is it's right next to the school.
Cue suspect.
She crossed the street and walked to school, what we thought walked to school. My boyfriend who drove her to school drove away at that point.
Could it be that she is saying we, as I said yesterday, even though she's not French, because I'm picking up guilty knowledge? That's why it's we, in my opinion. It's not because she was there. She's not even implying she was there. She even says, my boyfriend took him. She's saying we and can't help but by saying we because she has, in my humble opinion, guilty knowledge. And that's why I said I believe truly that the mother may be the one that took the child's life. In a bite, when the child is trying to tell the mother what's been being done to her, the mother, I feel, was in denial, strong denial. And I feel that the reason she is actually saying we is because she is acknowledging guilty knowledge, because she feels guilty. It's a tell to me. All right? Now, I know some people aren't going to feel the same way I do, and I respect you. I do. And I'm not trying to make light of your opinion. Share your other opinion. Please be respectful. That's all I ask. Let's continue, lovelies.
It was seen on video footage that she hung out in the parking lot of the church for a few minutes and then got up and walked towards the school. But she never made it that walk and that was around 9 a.m. when she got up. She never made it to school after that.
Okay. Did you catch her? What did she say? Listen closer. Now wait, I rewound it till God knows when.
Around 9 a.m. when she got up.
What time did she get up? 9 a.m. Oops. Now, if he's coming to pick the child up, okay, why is she volunteering a time at all if she was asleep? She would not know. And you are not going to make shit up. I was asleep. I don't know exactly what time she got up, would be what you'd say. But she's volunteering that this child got up at 9 o'clock. And if Stefan is driving to pick her up, okay, are you following me? If the child is already a dead body by 7:30, 7:50 a.m. allegedly by LE, and the mother's the only one with the child, and she's claiming on national television that this baby is getting up at 9 a.m., I am not okay with that, you guys. Okay. I take this very personal because I can sense a complete fraud here. This is somebody that is psychologically damaged, and I really, really believe they're both as guilty as the other. I believe that this is as close as... I'm sorry, guys, if I'm upsetting you boys. I believe that we're looking at Jacqueline and Trezell West. And that's why he's saying we. Okay, here we go.
She never made it to school after that. And walked to school, what we thought walked to school. My boyfriend who drove her to school drove away at that point.
She said, my boyfriend that drove her to school drove away at that point, and she cut it off. My boyfriend that drove her to school that day cut her own self off as if, oh, that's not true. And then she changed it to, he drove away. Yes, classic and sincere. Beautiful babies. You were right, Lee McKenna. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
It was seen on video footage that she hung out in the parking lot of the church for a few minutes and then got up and walked towards the school. But she never made it that walk and that was around 9 a.m. when she got up. She never made it to school after that. It's right next to the school. I don't know why she didn't make it. I don't know if something happened on her walk along the way or if she got taken, but she never made it.
And that was the last anyone's seen of her or heard from her?
Yes. I went to pick her up after school, and she wasn't there. So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk. Maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well.
You guys, I don't buy it. I'm sorry. I don't feel he's intimidating her. I don't care if he cracks his knuckles or what he's doing. She does not even seem to notice his presence. I think he is intentionally trying to show a united front, but they're not together anymore, is what I feel. I feel like there's a disconnect, and that's why he's picking the child up, because I don't feel he lives at this house somehow. This is just intuitive in this reading. I could be completely wrong. Go do your research. But he's distancing himself from her in the chair because this is her interview. But he's trying to show her that he's got her back, is what I feel. I think he's a knuckle cracker all the time. I don't care if he's on camera or not. I don't think he's intimidating her. I think he's trying to be real reassuring to her. I got your back. Because you chose not to believe her. And I'm so sorry that this has come down to this. But do you notice how he's more upset than she is, he says, and stuff like that? That she's holding it together better than he is? I'm wondering how well that the mother held it together if Madeline Soto was telling her mother what was really going on in that home, allegedly, right? Judah Star says, yeah, she's spewing out a bunch of crap not making any sense. Sam R. says she has no emotion until she says she can't be traced and laughs. Right, oh, like he wants her to implicate herself, maybe. Yes. Thank you. Okay, here we go.
Drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school. The school was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
So she emailed one of the teachers. When was that? What time of night was that? Because if you don't report it till 8 o'clock at night. Sarah Kelson? Ah, I love that name. That's pretty. Sarah Kelson. Welcome to 1111 True Crime. You said, I think the school did well. Are we sure the school did not verify earlier? No, we're not sure because his mother is lying already. She's saying that she contacted the police immediately after 4:30 when we're reading the police report. And that says that the police were called by the mother at 20 hours, which is 8 o'clock p.m. You say typically schools notify early in the morning. Maybe he intercepted the call when she was still asleep and erased it. And you could be right. Hunt says, you're right, Danny. You got a point. This is an exhausting case. I understand. Yeah, she says at 4:30 she called the police. Well, that doesn't match the police statement. And I feel like, honestly, she could be the attacker. I'm picking up, and I'm not a doctor. I cannot diagnose, but I am picking up mental illness, possibly, because it's a disconnect psychotically. I am picking up somebody that snaps on a dime. I'm talking about explosive. I'm talking about the big B word, not bitch, but a medical word that rhymes with polar. I'm picking up a lot of weird energies from this, and it's overwhelming to me how I can feel that Madeline is terrified of her, and I think Madeline stood up to her mother for once. Is it possible, you guys? But that's my own opinion. Brenda Stanley says he lives with them, slept separately. P's do this distancing, like convincing themselves child is a lover, is sick. How's he picking her up if he's already in the home? Something doesn't feel right. That's a great question, Lee. She points out, well, it's a point. She says, need autopsy results. Did he drug Maddie? That way police think she was already deceased. Wildfire says something is draining me fast and not sure what it is right now, just since the interview started. I'm telling you, I feel the energy from this interview. Judah Starr has a great question. This is the question of the night. You get a gold star, Judah Starr. You say, what if the child was pregnant and the dude told the mom it was a girl, came onto him and seduced him? Anything like that. Anything like that could trigger this. Okay, let's continue, you guys.
Have you heard from like any of her friends? Has she been active on any social media?
She hasn't been active on social media, none of her chats, none of her games. We did contact all her friends. None of them had seen her Monday or heard from her. Yeah, there's no update.
Can I
It's only been 24 hours at the time of this interview, I believe, that the girl was missing. Something close to that. This is one of the first interviews. No update. That's a moment where even if there's not an update, that you could be plugging away trying to get information about your daughter out there, begging the public.
have to ask this, and I know I hate doing it, but is she the type that would run away? Has this happened in the past or anything? Has she ever threatened to run away?
Never. She's never ever mentioned anything like this before, and she's not the type to want to do this.
All right, and I want to bring this up. A lot of bad mothers, bad moms, okay, such as Candace Well, will tell you adamantly, whether it's true or not, they'll adamantly tell you this child would never run away. Never, never, never. Why are they so adamant? Because if this child has a tendency to run away, it makes you look like what? A bad mom. Okay? Why would a child leave a comfortable, loving home? No child is going to be like, I have everything I desire and it's a loving home and I get what I need and my needs are met, so I'm going to leave here and go into the big bad world. Because a child naturally wants to feel safe. And so when a child expresses wanting to run away, as we heard in rumors that allegedly there was some sort of a text about Maddie when she turned 13 wanted to go live in the woods. Okay, you notice that's not brought up, not even in the interviews, so maybe that was never said. But that would red flag anybody. What's going on at home that you want to go live in the woods? Sam R. says, I wouldn't be doing interviews. I'd be walking around and around. Right, you'd be looking for your daughter. I said they'd have to, walk and talk with me while I looked for my daughter. Sassy says no parent should demise their child or choose anyone over their child. You could be right. Wildfire says, I wonder myself if she was pregnant or they thought she might be pregnant. Or ready to talk, right? Because she's starting her period. And now even the child is like, hey, it wasn't a bit, a child that's being molested and groomed from early on, they do not understand that that is not normal sometimes. And then they learn it as they get in school that that's not right. You shouldn't be touching me like that. So now they know they've got to hide it, right? That's what it teaches them. It doesn't teach them to go tell somebody to get help. It teaches them don't say anything because it's a bad thing. So what we have to do is we have to start being more open in the way we communicate. And we have to be more like when they're real little. Take them serious. Never deny it. Get them to the hospital first. Have them checked first. Because you never know. Now, in this situation, if this really all fell down in this way, it could be that simply because Maddie is going to start her menstruation cycle, or has, being that she turned 13, Maddie is having to bring it to the forefront of what has been being done to her. And who would she take the time to tell? Would it be the school? Would it be the mother? Who is Maddie going to tell? So now Maddie's scared because, hey, I'm 13. I've already been to school. I know women can get pregnant when they get their periods. So now this shit's going to get real because now I'm not ready to be a mom. I'm just 13 years old. So who am I going to tell? Well, the baby is dead by 9:50 according to law enforcement. Mom says she didn't get up till 9 a.m.
She did accidentally leave her phone on Monday, which is kind of normal for her. She's got ADHD and very forgetful. So she left her phone at home, so there's no way to trace her. They tried tracing her school laptop, but that's off, so it's not pinging to anything.
Jen, what is your fear? I know you mentioned she's on games and stuff. Do you think she could have met somebody and tried to meet up with them?
She's open to us. She's open with us about, if she's got a crush with anyone, and she told us she had a crush on someone at school. And I looked at their messages. Nothing was weird. I looked at all of her messages, all of her deleted messages. Nothing seemed weird. It didn't seem like she was talking to anyone.
I'm sorry, you guys. In true crime, this is where my head goes. But I bet you did look at her messages. I bet you damn sure did. I bet you went through it with a fine-tooth comb. I bet you were looking to see if she's told anybody else about this. Linda Annie says, think about that if you're considering a second date. Nicole says, I think Mom did it. He was living there, but he picked her dead body up from the floor and took her to school. Thank you, Nicole. That's a great point. Judah Starr says if someone at school had been told, well, in Alaska about sexual abuse, the child does not return to home that day, the authority. Correct. That's what I'm saying. If a child, I started off in my 20s. Now, I'm in my 50s. But when I was in my 20s, I started off and I was special needs trained for sexually abused or physically abused or mentally abused children. That was my special training. And I did it. I was able to stay in the business for about 4 years. And then I literally couldn't do it anymore because I couldn't save them. The system hands the kids right back to the parents, and you get them back. You go to do your checkup, and there it is again. You report it, and they go to court, and they take a little class that they can do online, or they take a little class where they go to the library for an hour, and they get their kid back. And I got to where I was ready to beat parents that were beating their kids. And for my own sanity, I had to get out of the business because I couldn't do it. I wanted to literally, I almost got fired. And I could have got probably charges. So a little boy I worked with, we'll call him Tommy because his name was Thomas, was 3. And he came in for the day, and he was running around the room screaming obscenities. He was running with, you know, energy I didn't have. And he's screaming obscenities and carrying on because this was hardcore kids that had been badly abused. And the parents have had help and all this, and the dads had just come to the Christmas program, and I had shaken his hand, congratulating him on, completing the course and being able to get little custody back of Tommy. And so I hadn't caught the kid, and you literally had to catch the kid. So as he went running by, I swung him up, and I'm like, I called myself Miss Danny, and I said, give Miss Danny a hug, and he had a damn black eye. Huge black eye. When I called, reported it, of course. So social services is already headed to the house. I've got the boy. I go to take the little boys, all lined up, 3 years old, and I line them up at the urinals, and I've got them all in line, and, 3 go on at a time. They drop their little drawers. You can see their heinies from behind, and I can see bruising all over this child. I can see bruising all over this precious 3-year-old baby. Now, you guys, I'm going to be honest what happened. Whew. So, it was like social services came and picked up Tommy, and he screamed and cried and clinged to me like I was the good mom, even though I'm just the teacher at the time, special needs teacher. And I kept telling him it'd be all right, and he went to foster care. Well, the dad had to come by the office and pick up Tommy's stuff. I locked my office. He was a big dude, too, and I'm not that big of a person. But I locked that door, and I could have been beaten with an inch of my life, but I went off on that guy like I have on here. I was screaming. I was carrying. There were no kids there. It was after school, There was nobody there but me and him. I had went to school with this dude, and I knew him. And I knew his parents. And I went off on him to where he just sat there and looked at me like, you are some crazy biatch. And he got up and he firmly lifted me up and moved me out of the way. Now, I was lucky because he beat his wife several times. And his wife, Julie, came to school with a black eye instead of me, which was horrific. But that's why I got out of it. I just got out of it. So when I see this mother, and she is saying this is a talk of somebody that has guilty knowledge, in my humble opinion. Hey, Beverly Ward, I'm so glad you got alive. You said, well, it is all on the mom for bringing trash home and into her life. Lucy Lou Who says this poor girl, what terrible things she had to endure. Deb David says, completely agree with your theory. Judah Starr says, I don't think I could hold back and control myself either. I couldn't. If he would have been a littler man where my size would have been bigger than him, I would have had an arrest that night on me because I would have beat him to a pulp. Yep, Beverly Ward, I was at my breaking point. So I made it, I think it was 4 years total. Might have been 4.5 if I'm pushing it. But I had to get out of it because I can't stand it. All right, you guys, let's get back into this interview.
So I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like she may have been taken because this is not like her at all to just disappear and not let us know where she's going or who she's with. Yeah.
What are you getting from law enforcement? Are they actively searching for her? What happens now? Especially that she doesn't have her phone with her.
So as far as I know, they're conducting a search around the school. Behind the school, there's a Shingle Creek. There's a wooded path area that you could walk. It's a hiking path. They are going back there with their canine dogs. They've taken a piece of her clothing to see if they can trace her scent.
Ooh, that was a weird little, weird. Hold on, you guys. I just want to go back a little bit, not 30 seconds. Dang. All right, well, we're way back there, but she does some. I wish I could go back just a second. Okay, let's go back 10 seconds. There we go. All right, I got it. Look at this. Look what she does with her mouth as the interview is talking about the dogs. And after she talks about the scent dogs, you can tell there's a little bit of distaste in her mouth. Now, in all fairness, it could be, yeah, that worries you that they're going to pick up a scent of your daughter if it's dead. You don't want your daughter to be found by canine dogs, but these aren't cadaver dogs. Okay? So keep in mind, these are scent dogs. This is looking for a living child. So this is where you do want the dogs to pick up. You desperately want the dogs to pick up. Now look what she does in this conversation closely.
Wooded path area that you could walk. It's a hiking path. They are going back there with their canine dogs. They've taken a piece of her clothing to see if they can trace her scent. They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her. But I don't feel like that's going to find anything right now.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That is the classic. Like, what? Your daughter's missing. They got dogs out. You don't even shed a tear. You have no emotion. And then you say this. Listen. Oh gosh, that look right there. That might be exactly the look that I'm telling you about in these emotions, but here.
Of her clothing to see if they can trace her scent. They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her. But I don't feel like that's going to find anything right now. We've had people all day.
That was Stuper's Delight, you guys. Watch that lip. She even gets a dimple from it because they're in the wrong location. I'll start it again. Watch her expression, you guys. Right here to me, I am reading absolute guilt knowledge, in my opinion.
To see if they can trace her scent. They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her. But I don't feel like that's going to find anything right now.
I don't know. That's going to find anything right now. And her voice gets so tiny. Because she knows they're looking in the wrong spot.
Had people all day on that trail sending us photos to see if anything there looks familiar and like her personal belongings, and nothing is hers. So I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm just contacting the news to get the word out, to get some help, because I'm desperate. I'm a wreck right now.
How are you desperate? How are you a wreck? You sound like a news broadcaster that has no attachment to this case at all. This sounds like, a true crimer telling a story that they read about last night to the crowd, right? To the listeners. There's no tears. There's no emotion. It's a matter of fact. And she's smirking. Yeah, it's not just me. I know. My gut does not tell me wrong. But again, I'm not saying she did anything, but in my humble opinion, she knows more than she's saying. She has guilty knowledge. And I questioned her timeline when she says that this baby got up at 9 o'clock when the LA are telling me this baby was dead at 7:50.
Oh,
So you think that she's been taken against her will?
I do think so, yes.
as a mom, what's your mother's intuition telling you right now?
I'm trying to hope for the best, but I'm scared for her. I want her to be okay and I want her to be safe. I don't want her to come back harmed. I just want her back. Whatever that means. I just want her back.
We don't know what that means. You want her back? How about I want her back safe? How about it's only been 24 hours? How about I want my daughter back safe right the hell now?
Are you getting any updates from law enforcement? I mean, yes, they're searching that small area, but have they gotten any hits on any scent or anything like that?
They haven't let me know anything. They haven't updated me since I spoke to them this morning. I've contacted them to get some information or to give them some leads, but I've heard nothing back.
And Jen, there's no way that she just being, a teenager was like, maybe had a fight with you or an argument with you and was like, you know what, I'm going to go hang out at so-and-so's house and teach her a lesson. Could that be a scenario?
I don't believe so. We actually haven't gotten into a fight in like a few weeks or arguments or anything.
Now, we would have to know a lot more about this girl, why she does this eye squinting thing and all that, but it always seems to be at a point where I doubt her the most. I'm just saying. It feels pushed and conniving.
Like that. If anything, on Sunday, she celebrated her 13th birthday with my entire family, and she had the best day. She was so happy. She showed us all her gifts.
See, the squinting stopped when she's talking about the birthday party. That was absolutely the truth. But she went to squinting when she was talking about, had there been a fight between her?
She's just a happy girl, and she showed it on Sunday night when she went to bed. She was so happy. So, she had the best day. I just, there was no moment in that evening from when she got home from the party that she had her phone or had the laptop. She went straight to getting ready and went to bed.
Oh. So that would mean there was no activity on that phone by that child when she got home after the birthday party. So, why was there no activity by the child before she went to bed? I find that with a 13-year-old, I find the fact that there was no games played, there was no activity whatsoever, that this child just went to bed. Straight to sleep, no activity, and then she's poof gone.
So I know she didn't have any conversations with anyone. She didn't make plans with anyone. I didn't see any of that.
How did she look on the school computer to see that? Because the question is about the computer. She didn't play any games on her computer, blah, 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 blah. How is Jen looking to see that? Because she said, I didn't see any of that. So how did she look on the computer if the computer's in the dumpster in the morning before Jen even knows this kid's missing?
She spent the whole Sunday celebrating her 13th birthday. Was her 13th birthday on that Sunday, or that was just like the time you guys were celebrating?
That was the time we were celebrating. Her birthday was on Thursday, the 22nd.
Okay,
She just turned 13.
But that's just so heartbreaking to be celebrating her 13th birthday, and then the very next day, that's gone. The last you've seen of her.
Yeah.
Did you hear? She said she's gone. She filled in the rest of the sentence for the interviewer. She's gone.
I didn't see any of that.
So she spent the whole Sunday celebrating her 13th birthday. Was her 13th birthday on that Sunday, or that was just like the time you guys were celebrating?
That was the time we were celebrating. Her birthday was on Thursday, the 22nd.
Okay,
She just turned 13.
But that's just so heartbreaking to be celebrating her 13th birthday and then the very next day,
She's
that's the
gone.
last you've seen of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, where do you go now? Are you gonna go out there and search or look, or what is are you sticking by the phone? Are you know, what are you doing?
I'm staying at home, staying by the phone, hoping she just appears. I know my entire family is out looking. They've all spread a bunch of flyers. They've gone. I've had people contact me that they've gone to the international airport.
Okay, you guys, why do you have to stay home by the phone? We live in the 21st century. Why the hell are you not taking your phone with you? Why you're not looking for your daughter? Why are you staying home by a phone when you have a cell phone, meaning mobile? She is forgetting what she's saying, Samar. Beth says she and her dude are creepy. Oh, just a minute, Gretchen. Hold on, guys. Let me grab, I think Noah's home. Okay. She's forgetting what she's saying. You're right, Samar. Noelle, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. You say maybe Maddie said something at her birthday party, but then again, she was so happy. Dee Marie, you say because she already knows she's gone. I agree. I agree. Hunt says, in my opinion, it sounds like guilty knowledge, again, like you said, because whatever it means, meaning she knows she's guilty about knowing knowledge about her passing, and she wishes it never happened. Whew, right? Linda Lewis says, but we took her to school. Boyfriend said, I took her to school. Yeah, that's what they said. Sherry Krause says, did the police tell people to stay home? I don't know. Why not volunteer that? The police said I have to stay home, or something. But that's not what she said. Hey, Hannah. Hello, lovely. Wire Bandit says Mom said Ellie was looking in the woods since she had Maddie's phone. That exact where Maddie was. Mom criticized search efforts taking place in the woods when she stated they wouldn't find anything. Correct. Very good point. You get a gold star. Leslie says, then she says she hasn't got any texts or messages from her. How would she if the phone and the computer aren't with her? Oh, very good. Very true. Jean, is it Jeannie Ann? I think it's Jeannie Ann Simmons says she doesn't know her address. How's she going to get her? How's she going to know her phone number? Well, that's true too. All right, lovelies, let's finish this up and then I'm going to jump off here for the night. And then I will be back on Friday with you and we're going to be talking about Sebastian Rogers. So make sure and check that video out with me. Here we go, you guys.
To spread flyers to Amtrak, to Greyhound, just any way that if someone's taken her and they're trying to take her, just to show her face, just to make sure, she's not being taken against her will.
And you mentioned ADHD. Was there anything else maybe mentally going on or that you knew of?
She does suffer from anxiety, and once upon a time she was diagnosed with autism. We had her what's the word?
Screened, maybe?
Reevaluated.
Okay.
We had her reevaluated a few months ago, actually, and they told us no, she didn't have autism, but she did have some autistic traits. She did have ADHD, some autistic traits, but not autism. So I'm not sure where to leave with that because one doctor said she did and one doctor saying she doesn't, and I don't know. She's just in the middle, I guess, because she does have some tendencies, but socially she's pretty great. So I'm not sure.
And with the video that you were able to see whenever your boyfriend dropped her off, where was that? What, like, which video? Was that a surveillance camera?
It was a surveillance camera from the church, Peace Church, right next to Hunters Creek Middle School.
And do you have that video?
I don't have that. They didn't show me. They wouldn't show me. It was actually my sister was the one at location, and they were letting her know what they saw on camera.
Okay.
But they didn't show it to any of us.
Got it. Okay. Jen, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Please, 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 if you have any information, contact me, contact law enforcement. Any information helps. Maddie, if you see this, please come home. Please be safe. I love you very much. If you have my Maddie, please just let her come home. We just want her home.
All right. Well, good afternoon. So
No tears. Not one tear. Sam R. says, I think they both drove near the school she went church. Judah Star says she's lying. It is not right next to the school. That's true. I heard it was a half a mile. I could be wrong. Sarah Kelson says, I already wondered about Mom, maybe in a bite or maybe jealous. I think this darker than we know yet. Yep, Hunt, she did say, she filled in the interviewer's words when the interviewer's trying to put it in context how quickly this happened and that she was having a birthday party and all that. And now, and then the mom's like, she's gone. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like going to come at me, and I literally am not going to listen to it because I'm going to tell you my gut feeling, and I'm just simply sharing my own opinion. Cyrus Beth says, yeah, I really think she was killed the night before and spent the night figuring out what to do. Yep, and I think she called this stepping. And he disposed the body. I think it all boils down to be over molestation. Sherry Cross says the boyfriend must be cringing because I thought for sure he made up the church video. I don't think he made the church video up because the police did say all about the church video, that it was too grainy to tell, but it did appear as a female was sitting in that location and did walk away, but it was too grainy to tell who it was. So I do believe there was church video. Sam R. says, I think Mom sat in church as if she was Maddie Decoy. Oh, Lord, you guys. Oh, Lord, Sam R. You'd think they'd be able to tell the difference. Maddie's light hair and tiny compared to her mom. I agree, Red Wolf. Welcome to 1111. I can't talk today. Welcome to 1111 True Crime, Red Wolf. And you say the mother is suspicious AF. I agree. I truly do. Wire Bandit, he said positive attributes and things about Maddie and missing her more than she did. She didn't say one nice thing except she had a great party. But I wasn't at it. Right. Exactly. You guys are discerning what I'm saying. Very clear. Yes. Linda Lou. Maddie told her mom about SA, but Mom didn't believe her. Allegedly. That's what we're talking about, hon. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. How could she be on the video? That's true. Sassy says Baby Bu's mom was arrested. This one should be too, in my opinion. Yep. Yep. All right, my lovelies, it is well past that time of night. It seems like our lives are getting longer and longer, but we got to stay on here till we get the work done, right? I want to thank you humbly for spending time with me on researching cases to make sure that the victims get their time, that they are not ignored, and that we spend the time to really, really look at it, and we don't just assume anything. We aren't drawing our own conclusions here. We are simply saying, that it is highly probable in this situation, in our own opinion, that the mother may have known a lot more. And I feel that it would be worth investigating because I found it very, very strange if he's picking Maddie up if he already lives there. So I can't remember which one of you, but it was one of our beautiful, 11, intelligent, amazing true crime families that said if he had to pick up her dead body, that would be picking Maddie up. And being that the child's computer and electronics were not used according to the mother before bed on the night that before she goes missing, I would move that timeline up that Maddie was actually dead after the birthday party. And when a child is trying to communicate what's going on in their life, is it possible, I'm going to leave you with this thought, that Maddie may have said something to a grandmother or a family member that does care enough to throw a birthday party, and that family member may have addressed Maddie's mom about it. Then Maddie got home and all hell broke loose. I love you all very much. I want Maddie's story not to be lost. I want us to really look at this for her sake, that the truth gets out there, because I am not ready to let go and say, no, the mother had nothing to do with this. I really feel strongly. I got Truth Train coming through. I'm not bubbly. You guys, everybody keeps comparing me to Bubbly. And though she does an amazingly wonderful job, I promise you, I am not Bubbly. We are two separate people. I'm Mama D. Thank you, Judah Star. All right, my loves, with that, you go have a good week. I will see you Friday. We are going to be looking at the story of missing child Sebastian Rogers, and it really blows my mind. He is still not found, and we have a full interview of the parents. It's going to be interesting. I pray to God that this child is found before we even get to that video. Maybe he'll be found safe and sound, but right now, this autistic child somehow leaves the home without being seen on camera and without dogs picking up 1 cent. Was he ever really there that night? Join me Friday and we'll find out together. I love ya. To the moon and back.